Hello. Welcome to today's Hare Clip. I just wanted to share with you a short tip on what you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed. In the last few days, we had something called the Portland Prayer Vigil. And this was 8 consecutive days of prayer in Portland. And we were praying for injustices that were done to the Black community. There were people who had been shot, people who had been choked. There were people who were forced out of their houses in order to have property to open up for a Portland hospital. And as we were stepping into those places where injustices were done to the Black community, I just felt overwhelmed by the pain and the injustice of what the white community had done to them. There was something called white utopia, where at some point the people in the city of Portland wanted to just shut it down and make it an exclusively white community. And that just grieved me, and I found myself just crying out of the pain of what the community had done to our brothers and sisters. And I was feeling overwhelmed, and I asked God what to do. Well, I wanted to share with you, several years ago, Tim and I went on a rafting trip, and when we did, it was coming down in sheets. It was just pouring. And when that happened, we ended up we had a break, and the raft pulled over to the side of the river and took a break. And we got to shake off the water, and we got to have a quick bite to eat. And actually what we did was we eddied out. When you eddy out, you take a break away from things and you listen for God's voice. And as you listen for His voice, He gives you the wisdom and clarity that you need. So as I was praying about the injustices that were done in these prayer meetings, I took a few moments to eddy out and be alone with Him. And I said, "What do you want me to do, Jesus? What do you want me to do?" And as I prayed, I felt like He said, "Here's what I'd like you to do." First, He said, "I want you to take a longer break and spend some time with me. In my place and in my space, I'll bring you comfort, and I'll give you some things that you can be thinking about and digesting as you think about and reflect on some of the pain of the community." So the first thing He said was to take a longer break with Him. The second thing He told me to do was to talk to my next door neighbor. And I see her often, but I don't talk to her very much. She's an African-American woman who's brilliant. She has a wonderful heart. And He told me to ask her a little bit about her history and some unfair things that are done to her. And as I talk to her, I'm actually going to ask her, what was her childhood like? And what kind of things happened to her as an African-American in our city? So I'm going to do that. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do that by the end of this week. And then the third thing He told me was to journal. And He said, as I journaled the hard things that are happening in my heart, that I'd be able to see the hard things that are happening in His. And then we'd have a swap meet as we talked and swapped notes about what's happening. So I just really feel like if you're dealing with overwhelm on something and trying to get some specific answers to questions that you have, you can do the same thing. You can eddy out, talk to someone and sort things out, and then journal your experience. In that process, the Holy Spirit shows up. And He shows up with healing for us and for our communities. As we get clarity on next steps, we are able to do that with confidence because we've heard from His voice, because we've heard with Him. And in deepening that relationship, things get clear and we can take the next step with Him. Lord's blessings to you. Take care.